Hello, everyone. This is Ricky Caudill on the Plain Truth Podcast. So, I want to talk to you about my team, the Cincinnati Bengals, and why I think they have a very good chance of not only going to the playoffs, but going back to the AFC Championship game. So, everybody knows Joe Burrow, and that offense is outstanding, one of the best in the league, especially when it comes to passing. Uh, Now, Cincinnati got rid of Alex Kappa, and Cordell Volson was demoted to second, third string. Dylan Fairchild looks like he's going to be an excellent guard in the NFL. He's vicious. He'll put it on you. And I don't think Lucas Patrick is the answer at right guard, but I do think that Rison that they just signed and the fifth round pick they had, fourth or fifth round pick uh, of what's his name, Rivers. I think he's going to be a pretty good offensive guard, and he'll be good at swing tackle too. So I think Joe Burrow's going to have the best offensive line he's ever had. To be honest with you, Joe Burrow's worked. And everybody forgets this, but everything Joe Burrow's done, he's done with a bottom 10 offensive line in the NFL every year he's been in the NFL. And last year they were the 30th worst offensive line in the NFL. Now name another quarterback that's going to do what he did with the 30th worst offensive line in the NFL. Add to that, the Bengals weren't known as a running team. Uh, so Chase Brown uh, he didn't start for the Bengals. He took over the starting role, I think it was last October. And after like 6, 7 games when he didn't start, he finally got the starting job. He ran for over 990 yards. 990 yards. And the Bengals don't run a lot. And and on top of that, he caught over 250, 300 yards in catching and had like massive touchdowns in rushing and receiving. So with the new improved offensive line, I think that's going to open up more uh, rushing attack for the Cincinnati Bengals. I still don't think it's going to be their number one go-to. They're a passing team, but it's going to help because now they can't just concentrate on trying to stop the pass or rush Joe Burrow because Chase Brown will bust you up. He'll break a 30, 40, 50-yard touchdown like it ain't nothing. Add to that Samaje P. Ryan, who's done it before, and Taj Brooks, which had a great career with Texas Tech. The Cincinnati Bengals running game is going to be pretty impressive. And Cincinnati Bengals do not have a shortage of receiver weapons and tight end weapons. Gasecki, Noah Fant, uh, Drew Sample, mostly blocking, but he can catch. Big old guy, not very fast, but he can catch. And then all the receivers, I mean, just pick your poison, right? Pick your poison. Now the defense is not. I'm going to say it's not great. I'm not going to say it's horrible. I think it's going to be better than it was last year. And that's really all it has to be. If the Cincinnati Bengals defense can get to be like 17th, 16th, 18th, and 19th, Cincinnati's going to the Super Bowl. Anybody who thinks just because Trey Hendrickson didn't get no on-field work means that he's going to have diminished play this year has quite literally they need medication. They've lost their minds. Add to that Shamar Stewart he's a problem. He is going to get into the backfield. He's going to create chaos, and he can do it from the tackle and the end position. So he's a problem. And a lot of people forget that one of the main reasons that defense was so bad was because B.J. Hill was hurt. He came back. Sheldon Rankins was hurt almost the entire year. Logan Wilson got hurt, missed a lot of games. Dax Hill got hurt. DJ Turner got hurt. There was a lot of injuries. And say what you want, right? But Sam Hubbard has been playing hurt for the last couple of years, and it just caught up to him last year. He wasn't. nowhere near as good as we're used to him being, and he realized it. And he realized his health was just going to get worse and worse, so he decided to retire. The Bengals didn't make him retire; he decided to retire. So give Trey Henderson some help. T.J. Slayton's going to be good at stopping run. Uh, Demetrius Knight Jr. He's going to be good at stopping the run. Plus, he's doing pretty good coverage, and he's doing pretty good rushing the passer. You put Dax Hill and DJ Turner and Cam Taylor Britt together, and it's going to be formidable. If they stay healthy, it's going to be a formidable secondary. You had a formidable secondary with very competent linebacker and defensive line play, and this defense is going to be right around the range where they need to be. And Jordan Battle, he's okay. I think he's kind of soft, but he's okay. And Geno Smith, I think he's gonna do better this year than he did last year. I think he's gonna get more interceptions. I think he's gonna be involved more. So special teams. Money Mac missed a lot of games last year. He missed a lot of games last year, right? And he missed some field goals that he shouldn't have missed. And the Bengals feel like they fixed that situation. Cal Adamitis is no longer a long snapper. And they replaced him with a guy that they just thought was better. So we'll see. How many games did we lose by 1 or 2 points? How many games did we lose by less than a touchdown? How many games could you have added to that if Money Mac would have been healthy? So, and then you look like so. We lost the New England Patriots game because Tanner Hudson fumbled the ball while he was getting ready to go into the end zone. He caught it. He was headed to the end zone. It would have been a touchdown, but he fumbled the ball. That's not Joe Burrow's fault. That's not Joe Burrow's fault. And I'm not saying Tanner Hudson is horrible either, but we needed that touchdown. That touchdown would have got us into the playoffs. And I don't care who you are. If Cincinnati would have got to the playoffs, they're dangerous. Joe Burrow will win games in the playoffs that people just don't think he stands a chance of winning. I think Joe Burrow's going to light it up this year. I really do. I think the offense is going. I think he's going to pass for over 5,000 yards. I think it's going to be closer to 6 than it is 5. And I think he's going to pass for over 50 touchdowns. I do. And I think Chase Brown is going to have over 1,000 yards rushing. I think Joe's going to have 2 or 3 receivers with 1,000 yards receiving, easy. If T. Higgins stays healthy, man, he almost had 1,000 yards receiving last year with his 10 touchdowns. So this offense is going to be powerful. I think they're going to be the highest scoring offense in the NFL this year. I mean, bar none. Now, everybody wants to say that Cincinnati doesn't stand a chance against Baltimore. But Baltimore has a much better roster than Cincinnati does. And Baltimore's run it 2 years in a row. 2 years before that, Cincinnati won it. But Lamar Jackson was hurt. Lamar Jackson missed one game playing against Joe Burrow in 2021 and 2022. One game. And I know a lot of people don't want to face the facts, but Cincinnati blew Baltimore out twice in 2022. Blew them out. And then barely beat them in the playoffs. That's because there was a different quarterback. They had to re-scheme and everything and try to figure it out. So Cincinnati can beat Baltimore. Cincinnati can beat Pittsburgh. Cincinnati definitely can beat Cleveland. So I'm not saying we sweep the AFC North, but we're not going to go 2-4. I think we're going to go more 4-2. There's no defense in the NFL that Cincinnati can't score on. Not one. Not one. Who? Denver? Denver was a really good defense last year. Cincinnati tore them up. Made them look bad. They couldn't stop them. So I honestly, let's consider this. If Cincinnati defense just gets one stop extra a game, one turnover extra a game, you know, one more sack a game, just one more break in their direction. And Cincinnati is going to be a devastating team this year. Now, I would love to say that they're going to win the Super Bowl. I would love to see them win the Super Bowl. I got my fingers crossed. I just don't think it's going to happen. But if they get to the Super Bowl, I'm not going to say it's impossible. I've seen Joe Burrow work miracles in college and in the NFL. So I believe in his ability to win hard games. Can they beat Buffalo? Absolutely. They beat Buffalo and Buffalo to get to the AFC Championship in 2022, 2023. Can they beat Kansas City? Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. You know, Burrow had a winning record against Kansas City for the first 2021 and 2022. He finally lost to Kansas City in the AFC Championship in 2022, and Kansas City has kind of evened up the record. But I mean, what do you expect? Kansas City ain't no chumps. They're going to play hard. They don't want to have anybody have the edge on them. They don't want anybody to think that they can just handle them. But every single game Cincinnati plays against Kansas City is close. You can't say that about everybody. It's close. And everybody picks Baltimore or Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl this year. Why? Why? They ain't done it yet. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have been in the league longer than Joe Burrow. They ain't done it yet. They haven't won an AFC championship. They ain't done it yet. So why do you give them the benefit of the doubt? You give them the benefit of the doubt, but you say Joe Burrow, he can't do it. He's the only one that has, besides Patrick Mahomes. He's the only one that has out of the AFC since 2021. The only quarterback that beat the Kansas City Chiefs and go to the Super Bowl is Cincinnati. The only team that really stands a chance of beating Kansas City in the AFC Championship game is Cincinnati. I don't believe Baltimore, and I don't believe Buffalo is going to get over a hump. What hump? It's a hump they made themselves. If they don't believe in themselves, they don't believe in themselves. There's nothing that can happen. You know, team psychologists ain't going to get that out of them. It's fear. They're afraid. They wilt in the spotlight. You know, when the pressure's on. They're afraid of what people's going to think about them. Joe Burrow doesn't. He knows who he is. He's confident in his ability. And he's not playing not to look bad. He's playing to bust you open. So, I think they make the playoffs. I think they got a better chance of winning the division than people think. Now, it doesn't mean they will. No. I honestly think that it's going to be Baltimore and Cincinnati had the same record. But Baltimore gets in because they beat opponents that Cincinnati lost to. That's just the way I see it. And that's the way it's going to be for a while. It's going to be Cincinnati and Baltimore fighting for the NFC, AFC North. But then here's another thing. No team has ever won the AFC North 3 times in a row. No team, ever. So I don't see why it would happen this year. I don't see why it would happen for the first time. John Harbaugh's been the coach of the Baltimore Ravens for a long time. He's never won 3 AFC North titles 3 years in a row. Why would he start now? Tom's been in the head coach for a long time for Pittsburgh, and he's never done it. Would people please stop talking about Zach Taylor getting fired? Please. I mean, let's be honest. Zach Taylor took Cincinnati to a Super Bowl. It's the first time Cincinnati's been to a Super Bowl since 88, 89. Zach Taylor was the head coach when Cincinnati won playoff games. Zach Taylor has such a record in the playoffs is that he matched wins with every coach in Cincinnati Bengal history in 2 years. Mike Brown would be an idiot to fire the man. That's his team. Oh, You don't like the way he calls games. Well, boo-hoo. You're not the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, I just don't think he'd be as good a coach without Joe Burrow. Well, he did pretty good with Jake Browning, didn't he? Don't want to talk about that, do you? Name another coach that's going to take a backup that's never started an NFL game and win 4 out of 7 and almost get into the playoffs. Did you see what he did with Jake Browning? Do you see how he changed up the offense? Jake Browning ain't Joe Burrow, and Zach Taylor was smart enough to know it. You can say what you want to about the man. I'm not saying he's Andy Reid. I'm not. But I'm saying the man's going to have a great career. And if he can get 1 or 2 Super Bowls under his belt while Joe Burrow's the quarterback, you're going to end up in the Hall of Fame. Oh, I don't like the way he does things. He's too player friendly or blah 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 blah. Joe, hey man, Zach Taylor is a great coach. He's a great coach, and I don't honestly think he's going anywhere unless Cincinnati has a losing record. They get blown out in every game they play next year, and Joe Burrow's still healthy. Yeah, they may replace him. I honestly think that he'll get 2 or 3 years. He's got to have 2 or 3 bad years in a row for them to replace him. I really do. And you can cry about it all you want. That's just Mike Brown. That's just who he is. That's how he does things. Look at the coaches that he has. Look at the coaches he's kept. Marvin Lewis couldn't win a playoff game. He was the Cincinnati Bengals coach for what, 11, 12 years? 13 years? That's because he won games. Well, Zach Taylor does more than just win games. He wins playoff games. That's a little bit more important. You remember Marty Schottenheimer for the Los Angeles Chargers? Great regular season coach. I mean, absolutely awesome, man. He took the Chargers to a 14-2 record. Lost in the playoffs. Got fired. Chargers weren't the same for years. They struggled for years after they fired that man. Cincinnati's not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So remember what I said. I think that defense is going to be okay, man. And that's all it's got to be is okay. It could be a little bit worse than okay. It could be and still that'll be enough to get Cincinnati into the playoffs. But I honestly believe with Money Mac being back, if the Bengals stay healthy, they're going to be in the playoffs. And if they're healthy when they get into the playoffs, they're going to go to the AFC Championship. Because they don't fear any team in the AFC. They just don't. Why should they? You all want to say he's not an elite quarterback. Say it all you want. He don't care what you say. You think it affects him? He's going to go out there and he's going to slice and dice up any defense that's in front of him. He doesn't care what anybody says about him. He knows who he is. He's very confident. So, football's here, guys. I think it starts off Thursday with the Cowboys and the Eagles. Good luck, Cowboys. I think they're a train wreck waiting to happen. But I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe it. And share it. Share it with your friends. I can use all the help I can get. Trying to build a base. Trying to get some things done. So y'all have a great evening. God bless you. Goodbye. Go Bengals.